Hello, everyone. Happy Football Friday. It's a beautiful day here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I am by myself today, so we'll get this thing rolling relatively quickly. We had a bunch of games. MACtion is back. We had MACtion games on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then we had two more games last night, Conference USA battle and a Sun Belt mega matchup. So let's get those recaps for you, and then we'll talk about some the Monday night game and Thursday night game from the week. College news. We got trade deadline talk along with some ins and outs, and then we'll get you to our picks for the weekend's games. Ball State on Tuesday beating Kent State 27-20, 5-4 Cardinals now looking toward trying to secure a MAC East title. John Paddock for the Cards, 26 of 41, 63.4%, 254 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Colin Schlee for Kent State, 25 of 41, 61%, 183 yards, and a touchdown. Great ground games for both teams here. Carson Steele, Ball State's best player on offense, 29 carries, 192 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 catch for 8 yards. Marquez Cooper was not too shabby himself for the Golden Flashes, 32 carries, 168 yards, 5.3 average, 1 touchdown, and 1 catch for -4 yards. We had 100-yard receiver in this game. Ball State's wide receiver, Ja'Shawn Jackson, 10 receptions, 102 yards, and a touchdown. But I also want to note Kent State's wide receiver, Ja'Shawn Pokey, 13 receptions. Crazy good game for him, 87 yards on those. A lot of short throws there. Defensively, I have to go with Ball State linebacker Cole Pierce, 12 tackles, 9 of them solos, 1 sack, and 3 tackles for loss. Ball State +7, under 62. The other game on Tuesday night, another MAC game here. Ohio crushing Buffalo 45-24. What a night for quarterback Curtis Rourke for the Bobcats. 20 of 29, 68.9%, 317 yards, 5 touchdowns, passes, and a pick to go along with 6 carries for 45 yards. Buffalo's quarterback Cole Snyder, 25 of 49, 51% completion, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. He also had a fumble, so not a great night there. 2 turnovers for the Bulls quarterback. Buffalo, Bobcats safety Cam Dorsey, they list him as a safety on ESPN. Not sure if he's running back safety, but 12 carries, 52 yards, and a touchdown. He was your leading rusher in the game. And then 100-yard receiver on the night here, Ohio wide receiver Sam Wiglu's, 6 receptions, 131 yards, and 2 touchdowns on the night. Also scoring twice, Ohio wide receiver Miles Cross, 4 catches, 18 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Defensively, a lot of great performances here. I got to go with Buffalo safety Keyshawn Cobb, though. 4 tackles, 2 of them solos, 1 pass deflection, 2 QB hurries, and a 26-yard pick 6. Ohio +2.5, over 60.5. Wednesday night MACtion, Central Michigan getting it done against NIU, keeping their bowl hopes alive, 35-22 over the Huskies. Nevin Cremascoli for NIU, 13 of 33, 39.4% completion, 158 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick, 3 carries for 15 yards, and a fumble. Central Michigan, they played 2 quarterbacks. Daniel Richardson got injured, but he went 13 of 22, 59.1% completion, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Central Michigan, their other quarterback, Jace Bauer, 3 of 4, 75%, 36 yards, 14 carries, 109 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So great performance on the ground by Bauer once Richardson was out of the game. Leading rusher in the game, however, was NIU's running back Harrison Whaley, 20 carries, 136 yards, and 1 catch for 3 yards there. Lou Nichols for Central Michigan, the Chippewas running back, had 28 carries, 92 yards, but he had 2 fumbles. Luckily for the Chippewas, it did not cost them the game there. Leading receiver in the game, Huskies tight end Tristan Tews, 3 catches, 70 yards, and a touchdown. And then my defensive player of the game is Northern Illinois defensive end Isaiah Green May, 5 tackles, 1 solo, and a 57-yard fumble return for a touchdown. Also have to mention Central Michigan linebacker Kyle Moretti, 9 tackles, 4 solos, and a fumble recovery for a touchdown in the end zone. Central Michigan +6, over under 57 pushes. The other game on Wednesday night, Bowling Green gets to 5-4. They are seeking a MAC East title as well. 13-9 over Western Michigan. Trayson Bourget for Western Michigan, 16 of 27, 191 yards, 1 touchdown, a pick, and 7 carries for 29 yards. Ball State is in the West, by the way. I got that one wrong last on the first game there. Ball State is in the MAC West. But anyways, for this game, yeah, Trayson Bourget, Matt McDonald for the Bowling Green Falcons, 23 of 31, 74.2%, 161 yards, and a fumble. Leading rusher on the night, Western Michigan running back Sean Tyler, 26 carries, 93 yards, a fumble, and 1 reception for 0 yards. 100-yard receiver here, Western Michigan wide receiver Corey Crooms, 8 receptions, 151 yards, and a touchdown. Defensively, I got to go with Western Michigan corner Kenny H. Lovely. What a name there. 7 tackles, 6 solos, 1 sack, and 3 tackles for loss. Crazy that Bowling Green won the game considering all the stats pretty much favor Western Michigan. Western Michigan +5. They did cover, however, under 48 easily. Last night, Rice getting it done. Close one, 37-30 over UTEP. The Owls, 5-4, 5 wins for the first time, I believe, since 07. It was. I'd have to check on that. But, yeah, great game for Rice, especially TJ McMahon, their quarterback there. 21 of 31, 67.7%. 334 yards, 2 touchdowns, a pick, 10 carries for 23 yards, and another score. 5 wins for the first time since 2015. So I was a little bit off there, 8 years. UTEP, Gavin Hardison got injured in this game, but 8 of 18, 44.4%, not very good. 103 yards, a touchdown, 6 carries for 11 yards. UTEP's backup, Calvin Brownholtz, came in and did a pretty nice job. 7 of 10, 70% completion, 56 yards, 8 carries for 64 yards, and a touchdown. Leading the way on the ground in this one, Rice running back Juma Otoviano, 6 carries, 65 yards. And then 100-yard receiver in this one, Rice wide receiver Bradley Rosner, 6 receptions, 142 yards, and 1 touchdown. Defensively, I'm going to go with UTEP linebacker Cal Wallerstedt, 10 tackles, 5 solos, 1 sack, 1.5 tackles for loss, and 1 QB hurry. Rice covered -3.5, over 47 easily, 67 in this one. Great game here. Coastal Carolina, 8-1, Chanticleers, 35-28 over App State. Chase Bryce for the Mountaineers, 19 of 28, 67.9%, 279 yards, 2 touchdowns, a pick, 8 carries, 22 yards, 1 touchdown, and a fumble. Grayson McCall was dinged up all night in this one, but he played through it. 18 of 26, 69.2% completion, 253 yards, 2 touchdowns. His backup, Bryce Carpenter, played a lot in this one as well. Completed his only pass for a 31-yard touchdown, and also ran 8 times for 30 yards. The ground game, however, was not very prevalent for either team. Reese White for Coastal led the way, 9 carries, 38 yards, and a touchdown. Receiving wise, Coastal wide receiver Sam Pinckney was your leading receiver in the game, 4 catches, 80 yards, and a touchdown. Coastal wide receiver Jared Brown, also a great night, all-purpose night for him. 5 catches, 79 yards, and 3 carries for 84 yards and a touchdown. Defensively, I think I'm going to go with App State linebacker Jalen McLeod. 6 tackles, 3 solos, 1 sack, 1.5 tackles for loss, and 1 QB hurry. Coastal +3, under 64. And that was by 1. All right, NFL Monday Night Football. Browns crushing the Bengals in Cleveland. Jacoby Brissett for Cleveland here, 17 of 22, 77.3%, 278 yards, 1 touchdown, 6 carries for 12 yards, a touchdown, and a fumble. Joe Burrow did not have a great night. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but 2 turnovers here. 25 of 35, 71.4%, 232 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, and a fumble. Nick Chubb was great on the ground for Cleveland, 23 carries, 101 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 catch for 3 yards. Since he couldn't get much going on the ground at all, Amari Cooper had another great night for the Browns as well. 5 receptions, 131 yards, 1 touchdown on 7 targets. He also threw a pass, and it was an interception. Defensively, a lot of good stuff here, but I have to go with Myles Garrett for the Browns. 2 tackles, 1 solo, 1.5 sacks, 1 tackle for loss, 1 pass deflection, and 4 hits on Joe Burrow. The Browns +3, over under 45 pushed. Last night, Thursday Night Football. Yes, the best team in the NFL, the still only undefeated team in the league, 8-0 Philadelphia for the first time in franchise history. 29-17 over the Texans in Houston. Jalen Hurts returned home, Houston native, to a great game. 21 of 27, 77.8%, 243 yards, 2 touchdowns, 9 carries for 23 yards, and a fumble. Davis Mills for Houston, 13 of 22, 59.1%, 154 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 key picks in the second half that led to Philly scores, or 1 score and the end of the game, essentially. 3 carries for 18 yards for Mills as well. Dameon Pierce was great all night for Houston, 27 carries, 139 yards. I wish he would get some receiving looks, though, to boost his fantasy numbers, but 13.9 isn't a terrible day. Just couldn't get in the end zone for Dameon. Miles Sanders, also a good night for Philly. Not good enough for my roommate's bet, but 17 carries, 93 yards, and a touchdown for the Philly running back there. Dallas Goedert, tight end for the Eagles. He led the game in receiving, 8 receptions, 100 yards even, and a touchdown on 9 targets. And defensively, have to go with Eagles defensive tackle Javon Hargrave. What a night for that man. 7 tackles, 6 solos, 3 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, and 3 QB hits. Just dominant up front, especially against Kenyon Green, the rookie left guard for Houston out of A&M. Texans did cover, though, +14, over 45 hit by 1. All right, college football news. We actually have quite a bit. Auburn, they have named their interim head coach. Obviously, Brian Harsin fired. Their interim head coach is former Buccaneers running back Cadillac Williams. Great to see him getting a chance as a head coach, and we'll see how he does in his short stint as Auburn's interim head coach. Georgia, bad news here. Linebacker Nolan Smith, he's out for the year. Torn pectoral muscle. So big loss for Georgia's defense, but they do get Jalen Carter healthy for this game, so should be good there. Former Arizona State head coach Herm Edwards has a new job. He is heading back to ESPN, where he previously served as an analyst. He will be an analyst for the NFL and college football. So Herm Edwards sticking around in the college game sports media there. All right, we had the NFL trade deadline on Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern. And we had a record day, 10 trade deadline deals on deadline day. So let's get to it here. First one up, the Vikings, massive trade. They acquired tight end TJ Hawkinson, a 2023 fourth round pick, and a 2024 conditional fourth round pick from the Detroit Lions for a 2023 second and a 2024 third. So massive gain for the Minnesota offense, the second best record in the NFC at 6-1. So yeah, I think it's going to be a great thing for TJ. Was having a pretty good season with Detroit and has had good seasons in the past, but Lions loading up on draft picks for next offseason, trying to get their roster turned around, which probably starts with a new quarterback. The condition of the 2024 fourth round pick, it is a fourth round pick unless the Vikings win a playoff game. If they do that, then it will go to a fifth round pick. That was the fleece of the trade deadline. The Bears acquiring wide receiver Chase Claypool from the Steelers for a 2023 second round pick. I absolutely love that the Steelers got a second round pick. I thought that was crazy good value for Chase Claypool. And the Bears fans were saying, oh, it's okay. It's the Ravens second round pick that we got for Roquan Smith. But it's not. It's Chicago's original second round pick, so it should be pretty high. The Steelers are already going to have a high second round pick of their own, probably. So the Steelers should be in a good position to get some quality draft capital out of this trade. The other Steelers trade going down on deadline day, they acquired not wide receiver, corner William Jackson III and a 2025 conditional seventh round pick from the Washington Commanders for a 2025 conditional sixth round selection. So yeah, I thought it was a good deal. Big salary coming over from Washington, but I think it's a good option for Pittsburgh. Needs some secondary help, and he has played relatively well. I believe he played under Terrell Austin in Cincinnati. So love to see if he can get back to that kind of level that he was in Cincy. The Dolphins making two splash trades here. They acquired linebacker Bradley Chubb and a 2025 fifth round pick from the Denver Broncos for a 2023 first round pick, which is the 49ers pick, going to be late in the first round, more than likely, or at least middle of the first round at the worst, probably. But the Dolphins now do not have a first round pick, with theirs being vacated or forfeited because of the tampering with Tom Brady there. And the Broncos also acquiring a 2024 fourth round pick and running back Chase Edmonds. So Denver trying to find some help there in the backfield to upgrade over, Latavius Murray and Melvin Gordon, possibly. The Jags making an interesting trade, acquiring wide receiver Calvin Ridley from the Atlanta Falcons, suspended for the entire 2022 NFL season for sports betting. They traded a 2023 conditional fifth round pick and a 2024 conditional fourth round pick. Now, the 5th round pick next year, that will become a fifth round pick if Ridley is reinstated by a certain date that was set. Otherwise, it is a 6th round pick next year. And I think the more intriguing one, though, is the 2024 4th round pick. So the Falcons get a 4th round pick, and it's at its base. They get a 3rd round pick if Ridley hits certain playtime milestones, and they get a 2nd if the Jags sign him to a long-term deal. So yeah, could be worth as much as a 2023 5th and a 2024 2nd for Atlanta. So interesting trade. I love the creativity behind it for both teams, and we'll have to see how that works out in the next couple of years. The Dolphins' other trade they made, they acquired running back Jeff Wilson Jr. from the Niners for a 2023 5th round pick. I think it was a good trade for both sides. Wilson was getting less and less work as McCaffrey got more and more. And also, they needed a running back to fill Chase Edmonds' slot. Mike McDaniel knows Wilson from his time in San Francisco, so they have Mostert and Wilson, former Niners running backs, on the roster there together in Miami now, getting the whole 49ers offense back together there. Yeah, I like this trade. I think it's a good one. The Broncos, they acquired a defensive end, Jacob Martin, and a 2024 5th round pick for a 2024 4th round pick. Good trade all around. The Jets had a surplus of pass rushers, and the Broncos needed to fill the spot left for Bradley Chubb. So they get Jacob Martin, quality backup pass rusher that has some upside to grow. The Bills going in on it. They acquired running back Nyheim Hines from the Colts for running back Zach Moss, former 2nd round pick, or former 3rd round pick, I think it was, and a 2023 conditional 6th round pick as well. So the Bills got a great value here, worth a lot of money. Nyheim Hines is $8 million a year he's getting, but yeah, I think it was a good trade for Buffalo. They needed a pass catching back to supplement Devin Singletary in the run game. I'm excited for my fantasy team getting Hines there. Was going to trade him away being on the Colts, but not doing that anymore. So, and Moss gets a fresh start in Indy to see if he can make something of a pretty paltry career to this point. Couple other lower level trades here at the back end that just snuck in under the deadline. The Falcons getting corner Rashad Fenton from the Chiefs for a 2023 conditional 7th. Was weird that the Chiefs would trade away a corner considering their secondary is already not very good. But they got one. They traded one away, and we'll see how they hold up against some of the better passing teams in the league. But anyways, Fenton, nice deal for the Falcons. They needed to shore up their pass defense to go opposite of AJ Terrell, and I think they did that with this trade. And finally, the Bills doing another deal, getting one done with the Falcons to acquire safety Dean Marlowe from Atlanta for a 2023 7th. Pretty good deal for both sides. Marlowe not really involved defensively for Atlanta, and the Bills just trying to get some insurance for Jordan Poyer. Micah Hyde already out for the year, but Poyer dinged up with his elbow injury. So Marlowe looking to play some defensive snaps for Buffalo. That was it. Those were all the deals. A lot of great deals going down, a lot of draft picks changing hands, and no more trades until the offseason. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But one more thing on the trade deadline. Brandon Cooks was a big topic of discussion. Packers, most notably, living here in Wisconsin, Packers fans were just hurt, I guess is a good word to say, that they did not acquire Brandon Cooks or any receiver for that matter. That was a big topic of conversation. But the reason why Brandon Cooks didn't get traded, there were multiple teams involved and apparently interested. But because he's guaranteed $18 million fully guaranteed next year, the price tag was too high in terms of draft pick compensation that the Texans were asking for that salary coming up. So they were asking for a 2 and a 4. And again, like I said, the salary next year was a big issue. Why Cooks is still a Texan and didn't play last night, but I think he probably will play the rest of the season. Just like Cam Akers in LA. But NFL news-wise, some general stuff here. Starting off with, on a somber note, 3 deaths this week in the NFL family. Adam Zimmer, son of Mike Zimmer, former Vikings head coach. Adam was a assistant for 16 seasons with different organizations. Died at age 38, so gone way too soon. From what I hear, he was a fantastic gentleman, and will be missed greatly. Also passing away, former 49ers GM and grandfather of Rams head coach Sean McVay. John McVay has passed away at 91 years old. Great career in San Francisco. They even named their draft war room after him, the John McVay draft room. So yes, great GM for San Fran, and I know highly beloved in the Bay Area there. And then finally, former Raiders punter Ray Guy has died at age 73. Obviously, the namesake for the best punter in college football award, the Ray Guy Award, as well as the only punter ever to be taken in the first round. He is now with his GM that took him there. Former Raiders owner, Al Davis there. They are together, I'm sure, in heaven. But yes, Ray Guy gone. And a couple other bad things happening here. Former Chiefs assistant coach Britt Reed, son of Chiefs head coach Andy Reid, sentenced to 3 years in prison for the incident that occurred a while ago. Drunk driving, speeding, hit 2 parked cars, resulting in a 5-year-old girl's suffering serious brain injury there. So it's a tough time for the Reid family, but it sounds like justice was served when you consider the age of the little girl that was hurt, the severity of her injury, and how fast he was going, and his blood alcohol level there. So the Colts, they not only have benched quarterback Matt Ryan, but now have a new offensive coordinator. They have fired offensive coordinator Marcus Brady. I have not heard any update on who is going to fill his place. In the interim, I would have to think that head coach Frank Reich will take over play calling duties for quarterback Sam Ehlinger and the rest of the offense. Going to be tough the rest of the season. Jonathan Taylor already ruled out this week as well. Deion Jackson getting a start. No Nyheim Hines in Buffalo now with the trade. The Panthers, big news at the trade deadline. The Rams had offered 2 first-round picks for defensive end Brian Burns, and the Panthers said, nah, fam, we're good. He is a stalwart. We're going to keep him. We're going to extend him in the offseason, and I think they will. Key piece on their defense. So Brian Burns stays a Carolina Panther for at least the rest of this year. Big news for the Commanders. They have hired Bank of America Securities to consider potential sale of the team. So Dan Snyder possibly finally going to be gone as owner of the Commanders. We'll have to wait and see how everything transpires. However, on that front, we're also looking forward to what's going to transpire with the Commanders on the court side. U.S. Attorney's Office has opened a criminal investigation into the Washington Commanders' alleged financial improprieties. Cooking the books, essentially, is what I heard it was. So, yeah, securities fraud, etc., tax evasion, whatever you want to, get into there. But looking forward to seeing what that investigation turns out, considering it's the U.S. attorney and not an internal investigation. Some activations here off IR, NFI, and PUP. Ravens getting some help, not just in the form of newly acquired linebacker Roquan Smith, but they're also activating linebackers Tyus Bowser off of IR and rookie second-round pick David Ojabo off of non-football injury coming off the torn ACL last year with Michigan. So really good news for that Ravens defense coming up against the Saints on Monday night. Dolphins, they activated offensive lineman Austin Jackson off IR. The Bills did the same with corner Tre'Davious White off of PUP. The Chiefs activating rookie first-round corner Trent McDuffie off of IR. The Commanders, they opened defensive end Chase Young's practice window, activating him off of IR. So definitely a big help coming down the line for the Washington Commanders there. And then the Falcons activating running back Cordero Patterson off of IR as well. Being placed on IR, Dolphins offensive lineman Liam Eichenberg, Eagles rookie first-round defensive tackle Jordan Davis. We saw how massive of a loss that was last night. Damian Pierce gashing the Eagles defense for most of the game. We'll have to see if that continues. I hope not, especially because Jordan Davis is going to miss at least one key game, which is going to be the Titans game. I am very scared for Derrick Henry coming down the pike, but it is in Philadelphia, so I'm not as scared as if it was in Tennessee. And then also Ravens wide receiver Rashad Bateman, he is out for the season, placed on IR. Liz Frank surgery, so terrible season for him. Couple injuries and not much production there for Bateman. Speaking of injuries, Bengals corner Chidobe Awuzie is out for the year. He has a torn ACL. Did that on Monday night there. The Vikings tight end Irv Smith Jr., he has a high ankle sprain, likely going to be out for the year. His initial timeline is 8 to 10 weeks, placed on IR. That's why they went out and acquired TJ Hawkinson from Detroit. Cowboys left tackle Tyron Smith, he is still about 3 to 4 weeks away from practicing. Cowboys VP Stephen Jones announced there. Saints wide receiver Michael Thomas, he is out for the year. He has a dislocated toe. I believe he's going to have surgery on that. Ins and outs, Bills safety Jordan Poyer, he is out. He is week to week with an elbow injury. Like I said, the Dean Marlowe trade helps that out just a bit. Jets wide receiver Corey Davis dealing with an MCL sprain. He is also out, as is Colts running back Jonathan Taylor, as I mentioned there. Panthers running back Chuba Hubbard, he is out again this week So Deontay Foreman getting the lead carries there. Rams, good news for them. Wide receivers Cooper Kupp and Van Jefferson are both in. They will play. Bengals corner Mike Hilton, he is out with a finger injury. Newly acquired Chiefs wide receiver Kadarius Toney, he is in. He is expected to play on a Sunday night for his new team, Kansas City. And finally, the Chargers wide receivers Keenan Allen dealing with a hamstring, and wide receiver Mike Williams dealing with an ankle injury. They are both out. Look for Josh Palmer and DeAndre Carter to be the lead two receivers for LA. And some transactions. The Seahawks waived corner Sidney Jones. He cleared waivers. He is now a free agent. The Dolphins signing a newly acquired linebacker Bradley Chubb to a massive extension, 5 years, $110 million, $63.2 million guaranteed, max value of $111.25 million. And he is now tied to the team for 6 years, $119 million total. So great deal for Bradley Chubb, and good job on the Dolphins getting that deal done quickly after acquiring him. And finally, the Cardinals getting a defensive boost here, signing linebacker Kamu Grugier-Hill, big defensive player for the Texans, their leading tackler this year. So we'll have to see where he slots in Arizona. College football pick standings. Yeah, we all went 18-6 somehow. Logan went 1-2 on his Lone Wolves. He got Kansas State right over Oklahoma State, but he lost Texas Tech against Baylor and Pitt against UNC. And then I lost my only Lone Wolf, Penn State against Ohio State. Mark also went 1-2 in his Lone Wolves, Wake Forest. Losing to Louisville, and he got UCF right. They upset Cincinnati last week. And then he lost on our FCS game of the week. He lone wolfed Montana. So that was the loss that was the last loss that Mark had there. So yeah, this week we're same standings here. Mark and Logan tied at the top at 191 and 71. I am 6 games back still, 185 and 77. This week, tonight, there's 3 games. We're focusing on one here, the big matchup in the Pac-12. Number 23, Oregon State at Washington. The Huskies getting 4 at home. Look, I'm lone wolfing the Beavers. I just believe if it was in Corvallis, I'd feel a lot better about this pick, but it's in Seattle. I still feel like the Beavers can get it done. It's Friday night. It's not a Saturday game. I think some weird things happen when it's not a Saturday game. Oregon State's going to go in. They are ranked in the CFP for the first time, I believe, in their team history. So give me the Beavers on the road. They go into Seattle and beat Washington. They should be saying, we're the dogs. We're the ranked team and we're underdog on the road. Yeah, give me the Beavers on the road here. Over under here is 53.5. I'm going to go over that, I think. This one is 10:30 tonight on ESPN2. Tomorrow, number 2, Ohio State, 38-point favorites at Northwestern in Evanston, Illinois. Yeah, Ohio State's going to roll pretty easily over Northwestern. I really don't have much to say about this game. It should be a nice stat stacker for CJ Stroud. Over under here is 55.5. I'm going to go over on that. and 12 p.m. ABC. Texas Tech at number 7, TCU. We're all on the Horned Frogs, and why wouldn't we be? They're at home. And Texas Tech coming off a tough loss to Baylor. I think TCU continues to roll. Max Duggan and co. As long as they stay healthy, I don't think they'll have an issue. Look for Quentin Johnston to have a great game in this one. Over under here is 69. I don't think it goes over, however, on that. 12 p.m. on Fox. Number 17, North Carolina at Virginia. UNC getting 7.5 on the road. I think Brent Pry is going to have something up his sleeve for the Tar Heels coming into Charlottesville. But I just think Drake May is on a different level right now, and Mac Brown's got the Tar Heels rolling. Give me the Carolina Blue, and we are all Carolina Blue NCs up here. Over under here is 60.5. I had to go over. UNC doesn't have a defense, but they keep winning. 12 p.m. ACC Network. Number 19, Tulane at Tulsa. 7-1 Green Wave going into Oklahoma. Yeah, I mean, Green Wave, Michael Pruitt's got it rolling. The defense is playing outstanding. Tajay Spears in the running game is going well. Why not the green and white here? Over under is 56. I got to go under. That Green Wave defense is something else. And 12 p.m. on ESPNU. Big Ten matchup, Maryland at Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin is just still so fluky. Maryland really doesn't have a defense, but if Talia Tagovailoa is playing, yes, they will win. I mean, that's just a fact, even against the Jim Leonard defense. So give me the Terps on the road in Madison. I think Roman Hemby has another good game, and Talia Tagovailoa, hopefully he's playing in this one. Otherwise, I probably lose. Over under is 49. I got to go under that total there just by a little bit. And this one's 12 p.m. Big Ten Network. Baylor at Oklahoma. Mark Lone Wolfing, the Baylor Bears here on the road in Norman. I just think that Logan and I are on OU because Dylan Gabriel has played fantastic, and the games that he hasn't been in, Oklahoma has looked like crap. So he will be in this game. Blake Shapen played well last week against Texas Tech, but Richard Reese has to be the guy to get the Baylors there, and I think it's going to be a close game, but I think Oklahoma just has too much offense for Baylor to keep up with in Norman. Over under here is 61.5. I'm going to go over that one. 3 p.m. ESPN Plus. This is the big one. College game day will be in town in Athens, Georgia. SEC on CBS. Number 1, Tennessee at number 3, Georgia. Logan is lone wolfing the Volunteers on the road in Sanford Stadium. Look, the Dogs are the Dogs for a reason. They have a defense. Nolan Smith out for the year, but they have Jalen Carter now healthy. It's going to be a dog fight. And I think Stetson Bennett has the swag. Brock Bowers is an elite playmaker. They're going to use the tight ends a lot against the Tennessee linebackers, and they're going to run the ball effectively so that Hendon Hooker does not get that many possessions. And they're going to keep it away from Hendon Hooker. I think that is how Georgia wins. And they get stops when they need to. Go Dogs. And it's going to be a battle, boys. Over under here is 65. It's going to go under. Georgia's going to keep it under. 3:30 CBS, SEC on CBS. Pac-12 number 8, Oregon, 31.5 points on the road at Colorado. Yeah, this isn't going to be a close game. This is like Ohio State's game against Northwestern here. Colorado is so bad. Both Colorado teams are, them and Colorado State. But yeah, Buffaloes are going to get filleted in this one. Ducks are going to have a good day. Bo Nick's going to throw for a bunch of yards and touchdowns. Over under is 63. I'm going under that. However, I think they don't score 63 by themselves. 3:30 on ESPN. Number 15, Penn State at Indiana. The Nittany Lions coming off the devastating loss to Ohio State, playing 3 good quarters and not playing a complete game. So they're going to have some revenge, and they're going to get it here in Bloomington. So give me my boys on the road here. Nick Singleton, Katron Allen go wild and run all over the Hoosiers. Over under is 50.5. I'm going to go over in that one. 3:30 ABC. Michigan State at number 16, Illinois. I am shocked that Logan is lone wolfing the Sparty on the road at in Champaign. Look, Chase Brown is the dude, and they got him absolutely rolling. Michigan State does not have the defense to stop him. I don't know if they cover 17 because I feel like that's a lot, but Illinois gets the 8-1 in my book. Roll Illini. Over under is 40.5 in this game. I have to go with the over in that one. And 3:30 on Big Ten Network. Number 18, Oklahoma State at Kansas. I'm kind of shocked that Kansas is favored in this game. I don't know the status of Jalen Daniels, but yeah, Oklahoma State came off a terrible loss to Kansas State last week, 48-0. They're going to get revenge in Lawrence, Kansas this week. Take it out on the other Kansas team, apparently, for Oklahoma State. So Spencer Sanders will have a bounce back day. Dominic Richardson and the ground game and the Oklahoma State defense stands up, whether Jalen Daniels plays or not. So give us the Pokes on the road here. Over under here is 63. I'm going to go over in that game. 3:30 FS1. Number 20, Syracuse at Pitt. Mark is lone wolf in the Pitt Panthers here at home as the favorites at home here. Syracuse coming in off 2 straight losses to Clemson and Notre Dame, who play each other this week. But I think they have enough in the tank. Sean Tucker, Garrett Strader, if he's healthy, they get the win in Pittsburgh there at Acrisure Stadium. Number 25, UCF at Memphis. Yes, the Knights ranked for the first college football playoff poll this year. Yeah, they're going to go in. This should be a fun game. I just think John Rice Plumlee and the Black Knights offense there will get it done on the road. Tough game, but yeah, UCF wins a close one. Over under is 58.5. I'm going over on that one. And 3:30 ESPN2. Big matchup in Conference USA, UTSA at UAB. The reason why this is so big, it's actually, I thought it was bigger. UAB was doing well in conference play. They're only 2-3, 4-0 UTSA, but UTSA is trying to stay there and get home field advantage for the Conference USA championship game. I believe they're a conference who does not have a neutral site. So yeah, UTSA trying to get that home field over UNT right now in the CUSA race. It's a pick'em game. And we're all going with the Roadrunners on the road. Yes, Frank Harris and company, Zachary Franklin, they should get it done. I believe in that Roadrunner offense, and the defense is playing well also. Over-under is 52. I'm going over there. And 3:30 p.m. no network attached. Stream it somewhere. Liberty 7-1 Hugh Freeze at Arkansas. Yeah, I wanted to go with Liberty, but it's on the road in Fayetteville, and I just think the Hogs are having a really good season. It seems like they're not, but they are 5-3. They're right in the thick of trying to get one of the mid to upper level bowls here. So they could become bowl eligible with a win against the Flames here. And as you can see, we all think they will. It's just the SEC against Liberty is going to be too much for them to handle. Over under 61. I'm going over for this game. 4 p.m. SEC Network. Navy at Cincinnati. The Bearcats coming off a loss to UCF need to get back on track, and I think they will. Navy has been terrible this year. They've had some bright spots, but it's not going to be enough to go into Cincinnati and win. Everyone's on the Bearcats here and Ben Bryant. Over-under is 44. I'm going to go over on that game. 4 p.m. ESPNU. South Alabama at Georgia Southern. This is a big one in the Sun Belt. South Alabama 3-1 in conference play. Georgia Southern 2-2. Southern trying to get up to compete, trying to stay in the hunt there in the Sun Belt East. USA trying to stay with Southern Miss and Troy in the Sun Belt West race with only one loss in conference. Logan Lone Wolf and the Eagles at home in Statesboro. I've been on the Jags all year, and I think they're going to continue to win. I just love South Alabama. Their quarterback, Carter Bradley, is playing lights out, and so is their running back who had a massive day last week, LaDamian Webb. So give me the Jags on the road. Mark and I are on them. Over under 61.5. I'm going to go under in that game. 4 p.m. ESPN Plus. Troy at Louisiana. I mentioned Troy. They are leading the Sun Belt West right now by a half a game, 4-1 in conference. And I think we all think they're going to get it done on the road at Louisiana. Louisiana has not been the same team since Napier left for Florida. And Troy, however, has been very good with their quarterback, Gunnar Watson, and Jarrett Deggy, who has had to play as well. So, yes, give me the Troy Trojans on the road here over the Raging Cajuns. Over under in that game was 43. I'm going to go over that 5 p.m. ESPN Plus. This game, and I forgot to switch out the logo here. That's my bad. But number 6 Alabama at number 10 LSU. Bama, I just think that it's Bama, and they've only lost once in like the last 8 to LSU, which was 2019 championship team with Joe Burrow. So, yeah, it's a night game in Death Valley, but I just do not think Brian Kelly will be able to beat Saban in his first year. Over under is 56.5. I'm going to go over that in this one. 7 p.m. ESPN. Number 24, Texas at number 13, Kansas State. Mark Lone Wolf and the Wildcats. I'm surprised it's not Logan. He's been on them most of the year. But yeah, I just think Texas has the better team. That's why they're favored on the road. Not sure if Adrian Martinez is going to play in this one. He didn't last week. Will Howard played the entire game at quarterback. But I just think with Bijan Robinson running the ball, Quinn Ewers is the better quarterback, whether it's Martinez or Howard. And also, I think the Texas defense has played very well this year in a lot of games. So give me the Horns on the road. Total here is 54.5. I'm going to go over on that one. 7 p.m. FS1. BYU at Boise State. Logan Lone Wolf and the Cougars on the road. Yeah, I just think that Boise has played very well. Taylon Green has been lights out at quarterback, and they've got the defense playing well also. So night game on the blue turf in Boise, Idaho is going to be a tough place to play. BYU knows all too well how that kind of environment is with their home team in Provo. But yeah, I just think Boise State is on a path to destiny toward another Mountain West title, and they're going to get it done over a decent BYU team that has failed expectations this year. Over-under is 54.5. I'm going to go under. I think the Broncos and the Cougars play defense in this game. 7 p.m. FS2. Number 2, Clemson at Notre Dame. Logan again, lone wolfing the Irish at home. Yeah, when Clemson plays Notre Dame, it usually does not turn out well. Clemson has crushed the Irish in the last couple of meetings that they've had. And I don't think it's going to be any different here. Notre Dame has played well as of late, winning, I think, 4 of their last 5. A big-time win over Syracuse last week at the Dome. But I just don't think Dabo Swinney is going to lose to Notre Dame. So I believe it's going to be DJ at quarterback. That's what Dabo has said anyways. So give me the Clemson Tigers here. Give me the defense. The defense is really what I expect to play well here in South Bend and against Chris Pine in that running attack for Notre Dame. Over-under is 44. I'm going to go just under. However, I could see a situation where it pushes at 24-20 and Clemson covers. This one's 7:30 NBC and Peacock. Number 5, Michigan at Rutgers. Yeah, it's not going to be pretty in Jersey for the Scarlet Knights here. Michigan coming in. I expect Blake Corum to go off once again. JJ McCarthy will do enough in the passing game, but their running game is going to go wild. So yeah, give me Corum 200 yards here in this game. Over under is 45. And I'm going to go over that. 7:30 Big Ten Network. Arizona at number 14, Utah. The Utes at home. Yeah, I think they're going to be good here. Top 15 ranking in the CFP. Arizona played USC very tough last week, but that was at home, not on the road. It's on the road, night game in Salt Lake City. So, yeah, give us the Utah Utes here. The over-under is 67.5. That is crazy high. So I'm going to go under that. I do not think they can score enough points to hit that mark. 7:30 Pac-12 Network. James Madison at Louisville. Yeah, it's a night game in Louisville, Kentucky. But if Todd Centeio is playing for the Dukes, I like my chances. I think JMU has a great team. They're trying to stay in the Sun Belt East standings, trying to keep pace with Coastal and the rest of the 2 lost teams, which is Georgia State, Georgia Southern, and Old Dominion. But need this win to keep their overall record and to become bowl eligible in their first season in the FBS. And it would be a massive program win for JMU. I think they can get it done. Like Malik Cunningham, but I love the Dukes. So give me JMU on the road in an upset. Over-under is 52.5. I'm going to go over. A lot of points scored in this game. 7:30 ESPNU. Number 21, Wake Forest at number 22, NC State. Very shocked. Logan is lone wolfing the wolf with as Mark calls it, a crock pot on the top of his head. He's lone wolfing NC State Wolfpack there. I think Mark and I look, Sam Hartman is very good quarterback. He's going to be the best quarterback in this matchup. I think NC State found something last week when MJ Morris stepped in for Jack Chambers, who has been very bad, and they came back and won after being down 21 points. So I think MJ Morris will probably start for NC State, but I just think the Sam Hartman offense, they're not going to be able to be stopped, and Wake Forest gets it done on the road. Over-under is 54. I'm going to go over on that one. 8 p.m. ACC Network. Cal at number 9 USC. Yeah, the Trojans should have a great game coming off a close one against Arizona. They're back home for this one. Cal on the road, I don't think will have much for the Trojans. USC rolls pretty easily in this game. Over-under is 60.5. I'm going to go under. Cal's not going to be able to score enough to help USC out. 10:30 ESPN. Number 12, UCLA at Arizona State. The Bruins had a nice win last week. I believe they played last week. I believe they did. I just cannot recall who they got it done. Yes, beating Stanford, rolling Stanford there. So looking to keep pace in the Pac-12 with only one loss there to Oregon. So yes, they will get this thing done. Interim head coach for Arizona State. They've played better, but Emory Jones is not DTR. Over-under is 66. I'm going to go over on that one and 10:30 FS1. Last FBS game here, Colorado State at San Jose State. I mentioned that both Colorado teams in college are just trash, very bad. I think Chevin Cordero had a nice bounce-back game last week after the injury against Fresno. San Jose State gets it done. They crush Colorado State at home here. Go Spartans. Over-under is 45. And I think I'm going to go with the over in that one. 10:30 p.m. No network attached, so you got to stream. FCS game of the week. Number 2 Sacramento State at number 5 Weber State. The Hornets 8-0 for the first time in program history. Look, I know another team that's 8-0 for the first time in their franchise history. And so I'm going to continue to roll with that team, just like I will here. Sacramento State, yes, the Eagles are the other team I'm talking about. Sacramento State, I think, has a great offense. Their defense plays well. And Weber, while having back-to-back really tough matchups against Montana State and Montana, I just think they will not be able to get this one done at home. Sacramento State will be able to win it on the road here. So give me the Hornets. Logan Lone Wolf and the Wildcats at home for the number 5 squad in the country in FCS. This game is at 3 p.m. on ESPN Plus, so make sure you catch that one there. NFL pick standings. Yeah, Logan, what a sterling record he had last week. 11-2, absolutely on fire. I went 9-4. Mark, bad week, 7-6. Mark went 0-3 in his Lone Wolves. Colts losing to the Commanders was very close. He almost had it. And then Taylor Heineke happened at the end. The Rams, they lost to the Niners, and then the Giants lost against the Seahawks. I went 1-2 in my Lone Wolves. I lost the Panthers. They lost to the Falcons, lost the Lions, they lost to the Dolphins. And then I did get the Saints. They beat the Raiders in New Orleans. And then Logan went 1-0 on his Lone Wolf. Got the Broncos right in London last week. We're in sync for a lot of the picks this week. To start off here, Panthers at the Bengals. Unfortunately, I can't do it again. Panthers this week, you're in Cincinnati. They're coming off a bad loss to Cleveland. So they need a bounce back game. And I think that's what's going to get them back above 500, unfortunately, for Carolina's sake. But yeah, Joe Burrow has a tough day. The Panthers defense is playing very well. If PJ Walker can find some openings in the Bengals secondary, and the line helps protect them, I think the Panthers will have a chance in this one. But I ultimately think that the talent of Cincinnati gets it done on offense. Over under here is 42.5. I'm going to go under. Chargers at the Falcons. Yeah, we all got the lightning bolts up there. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think the Chargers cover this one in Atlanta. Falcons coming off a big win to get to first place outright in the NFC South. But they're going to come crashing down. Chargers are going to get them, get to 5-3, and make their season look a little bit better at this point. Over under is 49. Let's hit the over button. I think this is going to be points galore in Atlanta. Old school Falcon shootout. Dolphins at the Bears. We are all on the Fins. Yeah, the Bears have been playing a lot better as of late. And I think they'll have a lot of opportunities to run on this Dolphins defense. That's what I'm hoping for, at least with Khalil Herbert now on my fantasy team. But I think what's going to outweigh it is that the Bears defense isn't going to be able to stop anyone. And so that's the Dolphins defense is going to get some stops, especially with Bradley Chubb there now. And I think the Dolphins offense will just crush the Bears secondary. Tua has a great day along with Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. Over under is 45.5. I'm going to go under that. I don't think the Bears score enough to get it over. Packers at the Lions. This one kind of scares me. We're all on Green Bay. Maybe I should have lone wolfed the Lions again for the second straight week, but I just do not see Aaron Rodgers losing to Detroit, especially with how bad their secondary is. But so I think Aaron will have a nice day. The run defense should not be there for the Lions either. So Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon, and co. Packers get it done and try to salvage their season. Over under is 49.5. And I'm going to go over that game. Colts at the Patriots. No one wanted to take a shot on Sam Ehlinger this week like Mark did last week. So we're all on New England. Mac Jones looked decent in the Jets game last week. The defense really showed up, and I think that's what they'll do again this week. The defense and the running game for New England is going to be too much at home for the Patriots. Over-under is 40.5. Give me the under. Again, they're going to run the ball a lot. I think both teams. So clock's going to be running. AFC East matchup, Bills at the Jets. We're all on the Buffalo Bills here. They looked outstanding against the Packers until late when Allen threw 2 interceptions. But regardless, I think Buffalo still's got a lot to like. And they're going to shut down Michael Carter, force Zach Wilson to throw the ball and make mistakes like he did against New England last week. Over-under is 46. I'm going to go over in that game. Vikings at the Commanders. We are all on Minnesota. They should roll. William Jackson, no longer a member of Washington. So that is just one less corner to cover. The likes of Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, and co. So, yes, give me the Vikings. Give us all the Vikings and their passing attack with newly acquired TJ Hawkinson playing tight end. Over-under is 43.5. And I am going to roll with the over in that game. Raiders at the Jags. Mark is lone wolfing the black hole here on the road in Jacksonville. They are the favorite team. Kind of surprised they're favored. They're a half game better than the Jags, but Jags let me down in London last week. I need them to give me a pick me up this week. So Jags at home, I think will get it done. Trevor Lawrence has a bounce back game against a pretty bad Raiders secondary. Over-under is 48. Give me the over. It's going to be a shootout in Jacksonville. Seahawks at the Cardinals. We are all on Seattle. No one wanted to take a shot on the 3-5 Cardinals, who are favored at home. That's unfortunate. But, yeah, I think Seattle, coming off a massive win over the Giants last week in Seattle, will go on the road to a divisional opponent, and they will get the win. Kenneth Walker runs wild over the Arizona defense. Geno Smith has DK a little bit healthier in this game, as well as Tyler Lockett, and they can throw the ball on the Cardinals' poor secondary. Over-under is 49. I'm going to go over. Yeah, I think it goes over. The Cardinals are going to score, just not enough. Not enough to win. Rams at the Bucks. Now, this is where I think both of these teams' season is going to either turn around or fold. Going to 3-6 for Tampa Bay would be disastrous. 3-5 for the Rams wouldn't be too bad, but 3-6, 3 games below 500 is pretty bad. I am lone wolfing the LA Rams, though, on the road, just because when you look at these teams, they're very similar. Older quarterbacks in terms of Brady's age. He is father time because he's so old compared to everyone else in the league. But I just think the team who runs it the best in this game will win, and I think that will be the Rams, because Cam Akers is coming back, and he will have something to prove to the Rams and to everyone else that did not trade for him. Even against the tough Bucks run defense, I still think LA can run it well enough. They also are getting Cooper Kupp and Van Jefferson for this game against a beat-up Bucks secondary. So, yes, I believe the LA Rams will be able to win this game and salvage their season to get to 500. Over-under here is 42.5. I'm going under. This will be a defensive game. Sunday Night Football, Titans at the Chiefs. The Chiefs are getting 12.5 at home. And yeah, we're all on the Arrowheads here. Look, the Titans in a normal world, this would be a very close game. The spread would probably be somewhere at like 3 or 4, and we would get a nice entertaining game. But I don't think that's what's going to happen. Now, Derrick Henry might run wild like he usually does in games, but the Chiefs, if they're smart, will load the box because it's not so certain that Tannehill is going to play in this game. He didn't play last week. Titans still won, but they were playing a 1-5-1 Texans team, a 1-4-1 Texans team. This week they're not. They're playing probably the second best team in the AFC in the Kansas City Chiefs. And, Malik Willis has to throw the ball if he does start this one. And if he doesn't, the Chiefs are going to load the box and they're going to win. Look for Kadarius Toney against the Titans secondary. See how much he plays in this one. Over under is 46. I'm going to go over on that one. Actually, just under 45. Give me 45, 1 point under there. 820 NBC. Best bets of the week. 1 and 2 last week after a 3-0 showing the week before. Lost the Jags -2.5 against the Broncos in London. They lost outright. The Steelers +11 at Philly. They lost by 22. And did get the Vikings right -3.5 against the Cardinals. So that was nice to see anyways, to keep my record right at 500, 11-11-2 on the year. So this week I'm going with the Chargers -3 at the Falcons. I love that line there. I think that's an easy push at the worst. And love Justin Herbert. Even without Allen and Williams, I think they can get it done in Atlanta. The Dolphins -4.5 at Chicago. Again, I like the Dolphins, and I think their offense is going to be the difference in that game. The Bears, no Robert Quinn, no Roquan Smith on defense is going to be a struggle all day to play that Dolphins offense. So like that 5-point plus win for Miami. And then I'm going back to the Vikings. Well, on this one, -3 at the Commanders. I just think the Vikings have the totally better team, better quarterback, and they're going to throw a lot, I think, on Washington this week. Lock standings, yes, I lost one. I am now 500, 2 games back of Mark, who continues to be dominant in our lock standings. Logan got his right as well, so he is a game up on me, 1 game back of Mark. Locks for last week, Mark and Logan went with the Titans. They got it done over the Texans in Houston. And then I lost the Jags at home as the home team in London against the Broncos, unfortunately. So this week, Logan and I are on the same page. We're on Minnesota to beat the Commanders. Love that play there for us. And then I also do like Mark's play, Dolphins lock of the week over the Bears in Chicago. Dog standings. While Mark is the pinnacle, at the pinnacle of the lock standings, he is at the lowest point of the mountain in the dog standings. 4-12. Mark is close to the number 1 overall pick there. 0-2 once again. Logan and I 2-0. I have a pretty good record at 11-5. Logan 9-6-1 there. So last week, Logan got his right, +2.5 at the Jags in London for the Broncos. They won outright, and the Commanders won outright as well in Indy. I had them +3. And then the Mark had the Jets +2.5 against the Patriots. They lost by about 7. I think was the 7 or 8 was the final score there. So this week, Logan and I, just like the locks, we are in lockstep with our dogs We are on the Jags plus 1.5 against the Raiders. Again, I think Trevor Lawrence has a bounce back performance after throwing some bad interceptions against Denver, and has a good day against that Vegas secondary there. Mark is on the Seahawks plus 2 at the Cardinals. Look, I like that one. I hope Mark can get the win here. We were all on Seattle, and Mark should go 2-0, hopefully, to try to start coming back on his dog standings there. So next week, we'll be back talking NFL Week 10. We will have the recaps from the Monday night games, the Ravens and the Saints, and the Thursday Week 10 kickoff game, Falcons at the Panthers. Of course, we'll also give you all the NCAA and NFL news and game previews, NFL and college. And we do have some MACtion next week, so we'll give you those game recaps as well. We got 6 MACtion games on Tuesday and Wednesday. We got 2 more college games on Thursday as well. We'll talk about those more on Monday's show. But thank you all for watching. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media at FAA Podcasts on Instagram and Twitter, FAA_bets on Twitter as well. FAApodcast.com is our website. You can check us out here on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts,